Your router has the following IP address on Ethernet 0172.16.2.123. Which of the following can be valid host IDs on the LAN interface attached to the router? A1 only, B2 and 3 only, C3 and 4 only, D none of the above. The correct answer is 3 and 4 only. Which two statements describe the IP address 10.16.3.6523? A1 and 3, B2 and 4, C1 2 and 4, D2 3 and 4. The correct answer is 2 and 4. A network administrator is connecting hosts A and B directly through their Ethernet interfaces as shown in the illustration. Ping attempts between the hosts are unsuccessful. What can be done to provide connectivity between the hosts? A1 only, B2 only, C3 and 4 only, D1 and 5 only. The correct answer is 1 and 5 only. What is the maximum number of IP addresses that can be assigned to hosts on a local subnet that uses the 255.255.255.224 subnet mask? A14, B15, C16, D30. The correct answer is 30. You need to subnet a network that has 5 subnets each with at least 16 hosts. Which classful subnet mask would you use? A255.255.255.192, B255.255.255.224, C255.255.255.240. D255.255.255.248. The correct answer is 255.255.255.224. You have a network that needs 29 subnets while maximizing the number of host addresses available on each subnet. How many bits must you borrow from the host field to provide the correct subnet mask? A2, B3, C4, D5. The correct answer is 5. If an Ethernet port on a router were assigned an IP address of 172.16.112.125, what would be the valid subnet address of this host? A172.16.112.0, B172.16.0.0, C172.16.96.0, D172.16.255.0. The correct answer is 172.16.112.0. You have an interface on a router with the IP address of 192.168.192.1029. Including the router interface, how many hosts can have IP addresses on the LAN attached to the router interface? A6, B8, C30, D32. The correct answer is 6. What is the subnetwork number of a host with an IP address of 172.16.66.021? A172.16.36.0, B172.16.48.0, C172.16.64.0, D172.16.0.0. The correct answer is 172.16.64.0. The network address of 172.16.0.019 provides how many subnets and hosts? A7 subnets 30 hosts each, B8 subnets 190 hosts each, C8 subnets 2046 hosts each, D7 subnets 2046 hosts each. The correct answer is 8 subnets 190 hosts each. You need to configure a server that is on the subnet 192.168.19.2429. The router has the first available host address. Which of the following should you assign to the server? A 192.168.19.0255.255.255.0. B 192.168.19.33.255.255.255.240. C 192.168.19.26.255.255.255.248. D 192.168.19.31.255.255.248. The correct answer is 192.168.19.26.255.255.248. You have an interface on a router with the IP address of 192.168.192.1029. What is the broadcast address the hosts will use on this LAN? A 192.168.192.15. B 192.168.192.31. C 192.168.192.63. D 192.168.192.127. The correct answer is 192.168.192.15. You have a network with a subnet of 172.16.17.022. Which is the valid host address? A 172.16.17.1255.255.255.252. B 172.16.0.125.255.240.0. C 172.16.20.125.255.254.0. D 172.16.18.255.255.252.0. The correct answer is 172.16.18.255.255.252.0. On a VLSM network, which mask should you use on point-to-point WAN links in order to reduce the waste of IP addresses? A 27, B 28, C 29, D 30. The correct answer is 30. To test the IP stack on your local host, which IP address would you ping? A 127.0.0.0. B 1.0.0.127. C 127.0.0.1. D 127.0.0.255. The correct answer is 127.0.0.1. If a host on a network has the address 172.16.45.1430, what is the subnetwork this host belongs to? A 172.16.45.0. B 172.16.45.4. C 172.16.45.8. D 172.16.45.12. The correct answer is 172.16.45.12. Using the following illustration, what would be the IP address of E0 if you were using the 8th subnet? The network ID is 192.168.10.028 and you need to use the last available IP address in the range. The 0 subnet should not be considered valid for this question. A 192.168.10.142. B 192.168.10.66. C 192.168.100.254. D 192.168.10.143. The correct answer is 192.168.10.142. Which configuration command must be in effect to allow the use of 8 subnets if the class C subnet mask is 255.255.255.224? A. Router config IP classless. B. Router config no IP classful. C. Router config IP unnumbered. D. Router config IP subnet 0. The correct answer is Router config IP subnet 0. Using the illustration from the previous question, what would be the IP address of S0 if you were using the first subnet? The network ID is 192.168.10.028 and you need to use the last available IP address in the range. Again, the 0 subnet should not be considered valid for this question. A. 192.168.10.24. B. 192.168.10.62. C. 192.168.10.30. D. 192.168.10.127. The correct answer is 192.168.10.30. What is the subnetwork address for a host with the IP address 200.10.5.6828? A. 200.10.5.56. B. 200.10.5.32. C. 200.10.5.64. D. 200.10.5.0. The correct answer is 200.10.5.64.